Juste you, UMOmag. Juste you, UMOmag. TV. Juste you, UMOmag. Juste you, UMOmag. Juste you, UMOmag. TV.
What's up, people? This is MS DYNAMITE here in Spain, in Madrid, and you're watching UMO TV. Make sure you keep it locked, don't go nowhere. One of my favourite albums of all time is Bob Marley, Exodus. To be honest, I could probably pick any of Bob Marley's albums because there's just so many tracks, it's ridiculous and it's hard to choose from. So really I would say all of them. I'm saying this one because I think it came at a time in my childhood that was a really happy time. You know, in my house there was always music playing, always, and a lot of reggae music. And I remember, you know, particularly this album just being on repeat. I remember my mum having a massive poster of the album. And yeah, I just remember it being like a really positive time and positive music within my household, you know, within my family. So yeah, that's it. Another album that I would say is one of my favourite albums of all time would be Lauryn Hill, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Again, because it was at a really prominent point of my life. It inspired me as a young woman. Lyrically, I felt it was amazing. Musically, melodically, it was really amazing to see, you know, Lauryn Hill, the growth of Lauryn Hill, going from the Fugees to going to be like a solo artist. A lot of the time when people are within a group and then they go on to do like their solo thing, it doesn't go so well. But hers just kind of blew out of the sky, and I think it's very, you know, obvious to see why, especially within this album. I think there was a lot of truth, a lot of honesty and a lot of talent, and I love that it showcased her singing ability as well as her rapping ability. I really, yeah, I just love everything about it, It's a classic. Another favourite album for me of all time is John Holt, which is 100 Volts of Holt. John Holt is one of my favourite all-time reggae singers. I love the tone of his voice. I love the charisma that he sings with. I went to see him recently actually in the UK in concert, and you would hear him singing, you know, still as, you know, quite an old man, but still with so much vibes, and his voice sounded, you know, as amazing as ever. He sounded, you know, like the tracks from 30, 40 years ago. Yeah, I love, yeah, his voice is amazing. I like the way he sings, so yeah. Favourite album of mine would be also Public Enemy's Fear of a Black Planet. I think this came at a time in my childhood where I had made that transition from listening to my parents' music to starting to listen to my own music and get my own sort of vibe for what I was into and what I liked. And what really appealed to me, particularly about this album, was the lyrical content. You know, growing up as a young black female in the world, you know, there was a lot of cultural references, you know, at a time when there wasn't that much, you know, expression of like black culture in the UK. The fact that it was rapping and it was hip hop, you know, it was kind of had a real aggression about it, but with a lot of intellect, a lot of knowledge. Yeah, and it inspired me, you know, a lot, and it taught me a lot about who and how, you know, I could be as a young woman, as a young black woman in the world. And yeah, I appreciate it for that. Another album that I would say for me is definitely a personal favourite of all time is Mary J. Blige, What's the 411. For me, this album was like the soundtrack to my teenage life. I feel that Mary J. Blige is an artist that first appealed to me because I was kind of into singing, but you know, never really thinking I was going to be a singer, but I loved to sing along. But I loved the fact, you know, that she wasn't a trained vocalist. She just did what she felt in her heart, and I think that always came through in her songs and her music. You could always feel the pain and the vibe of whatever it was that she was singing about. I thought the album itself was amazing, you know, the fusion, the production, the fusion of like some old kind of, I remember a song on there, Sweet Thing, which is like an old Shaka Khan track, which she kind of did in her own and kind of revamped it. And sometimes when people try to do that, you know, it's not good, but I thought it was amazing. You know, I love everything about it. It's very soul, the fusion of soul and hip hop. For me, she did it perfectly, and that would be the main album for me that I would choose, you know, of hers that, you know, meant a lot to me. So yeah, that's it.
La interpretación de Paco de Lucía de las canciones de Manuel de Falla me gusta mucho. Cuando me apetece oír flamenco, música o folclore español, ese disco me gusta mucho.
Just you,